Like if you're going, oh, let's go for a weekend somewhere, like, oh, let's go to Portugal and on Saturday, we'll do the HYROX in Portugal. So we'll fly Friday night, do the HYROX on Saturday, and spend Sunday there and fly back. And then like anyone that's fitnessy will love that because you can do your exercise and stuff, and then you can come back and you've had a holiday in Portugal and it's been good crack, if you know what I mean.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast, Chats. And we've got a very special guest today, back for his second appearance. He was literally begging me to come back on the podcast.
Something like that.
Mike, welcome back.
Yeah, hi. Cheers for having me. About 2 years on.
Yeah, lots changed.
Yeah, a lot's changed, to be honest. And we've been working pretty consistently over the last 2 years, haven't we? So, yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see how much has changed in the last 2 years, isn't it? Because it's probably coming up to 2 years since, we'll go into these soon, but it's 2 years, was it August, September time when you launched the Stealth?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think it probably was. And yeah, things have gone crazy since then, haven't they? But
yeah, we kind of had like a soft launch. We got a few in, tested them out, see what the Stealth stuff's kind of like. And then from there, we've just kind of gone in with both feet and just see how we're getting on, yeah?
Yeah. So if somebody's watching this for the first time, and seen you for the first time, how would you introduce yourself to like somebody if you're in like a taxi, in the back of a taxi, or just meeting someone at an event or something like that? Apart from, hi, I'm Mike.
Yeah. No, really. Just like a normal guy. Started my own business and pushed that on pretty hard. Love my exercise, outdoors, and yeah, living in the lakes, just spending as much time as I can outside.
Yeah, living the dream. So yeah, Mike owns Assassin Goods, which is here, isn't it? And been going for 8 years? Is it 8 years?
Somewhere around there, yeah. Not good with my dates, probably should have made some notes.
Yeah, about 8 years. And yeah, I bet it's, like you spoke on the last podcast, you started when you were traveling, didn't you, really?
Yeah. So, I had the plan before I went traveling, but all the things lined up that when I was away, we needed to get everything sorted, booked, paid for, everything sorted. So, yeah, I did it off a phone in India. So
I remember you telling us.
Yeah.
Could you imagine doing that now?
Not quite. No, yeah. I think it was a bit of a risk at the time, but I was a lot younger then. A little bit braver, maybe.
I think yeah. When you're younger, don't really think of the downsides of the consequences of the risks as much. Just to say,
yeah,
I definitely didn't.
It was a bit different because at that point, the only loss I would have had was money, basically. Mm. I mean, now's a bit different because I've built such a thing, so you couldn't risk it all on something like that. But when I was making the initial investment, it was just the money. So worst case scenario, the money I'd saved up and the money I had was gone or stuck in stock or however it was. Whereas, now, I mean, I've got a lot more riding on it. Yeah. Got employee, all that kind of stuff. So you can't just risk it all on one thing. But saying that, I mean, like with the Stealth stuff, sometimes you've got to commit to something and really back it, which is almost as much of a risk. Yeah. So.
100%. Yeah. So then what is new from the last 2 years? If people are watching this as a second podcast, what's happened in the last 2 years, would you say, since we last spoke on the podcast?
Yeah.
Because I suppose, these weren't even a thing, were they? Assassin?
They were we'd maybe got a couple just to try and that kind of stuff. I mean, we all have had the chrome silver ones and the kettlebells definitely weren't a thing. But two main things is HYROX. God, that's a big thing nowadays. Hybrid rock stars and all that.
That's actually what it's called, though, isn't it? Yeah. I only found out the other day.
It makes you regret doing it, doesn't it? No, and that's become a massive thing. And a lot more people have got into like the fitness kind of side of it rather than the strength side of it. We were massively into CrossFit and the functional fitness, which tends to be a lot more strength and intensity. The HYROX tends to be way more, it's an hour long rather than a 5-minute workout. And there's a lot more running. So now you get a lot more people doing running and doing like, you'll know yourself with running stuff, you need the rehab, you need the strengthening work for the running. And then that stuff you do at home, so that pushes more people into doing fitness at home and all that kind of stuff. And so because that's built up, you got a whole new bunch of people that would usually just go to a normal gym doing completely different stuff. And so that's built up massively. And and so that almost is taking over functional fitness, I guess, for most people. And the other big thing is we've partnered and invested in Stealth and really pushed that forward. Since the start, we've been doing adjustable dumbbells, and we've tried countless different types and samples and different brands and everything. And when we first tried these, it was a bit of a game changer, really. And I used them personally all the time, rather than, I have as many hex dumbbells as you'd want. And so when I tried them and found out that they were spot on, we just kind of ran with it, I guess. We just pushed it hard and built it up, and it's become a massive thing. Now we're struggling to keep stock. They're going left, right and centre, aren't they? So I would say they're the two main things to do with the business, really. Just keeping people fit and pushing HYROX stuff, and then pushing Stealth stuff and getting people at home able to train on like a small space, I guess.
Yeah. Why do you think HYROX has got so big then? Because I think I only first heard of it maybe like 2022, but not that many people were doing it. I was just watching YouTube the other day, and they were saying one of the elite 15 people who just took part in the World Championships, he said he first did his race in 2022. Yeah. So it's only really, like, say, the last few years it's been the thing. I think it's like, say, CrossFit was massive, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think it's similar to like the half marathons and stuff. Like, why do so many people do the Great North Run or anything? You know exactly what you're doing. You're training for one thing, and you can go into the office and say what you're doing. Everyone understands what it is and can like back you to do this thing, this physical challenge that you've never done before. Whereas the problem with CrossFit is if you go into an office for your day at work or whatever, and you say, I just had this competition and I smashed these workouts, no one really knows what it is. Like you're speaking a different language, like AMRAP, all this kind of stuff. And like people don't know what a snatch is or like how hard 100 burpees, like no one really knows that. But if you said, I ran a marathon, people know what that is. So it's a crossover, and you go, all right, people know what HYROX is. There's a bit of strength aspect. There's a lot of fitness, and you can break into it slowly and do lighter weights, less running, whatever. And people know what it is. You can do a training program and you're training for one thing, rather than in CrossFit. To be good at CrossFit, you've got to train to be able to do everything, just in case it turns up. So I think they're the two main things. And then also the branding of it's been really good. Firstly, they shortened Hybrid Rockstar to HYROX. That was a good move from them. And
it's a bit cringy, isn't it, when you think about it?
Yeah, God. And then on top of that, like the branding. So it's all big and like, oh, look at us and this massive fitness challenge. And they expanded so quickly, got partners in, and can just get so many people through the door. Like I did it probably like a year and a half ago or something now, just as me and my mate did it just for the crack, really. And they start at like 7 a.m. and they don't finish till like 9 p.m, just firing people through. And if you can get 600 people through in a day, you can get the turnover to expand so quickly, and you can build it really well. Whereas in CrossFit, if you have a massive comp, like District L near here, they have a massive comp, but they're limited because you've got to do different workouts and you've got to break it up, and there's got to be different judges and the movement and the rig requirements and all that stuff. So you just can't get people through the door the same. But when you're just running around a track and skiing and like burpees and all that kind of stuff, you can fire hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, isn't it, with HYROX, is there isn't really that much form. There is obviously form involved, but there isn't really that much. No. Whereas, say, CrossFit, you have to learn all the lifts.
Yeah, exactly.
Form, otherwise, you can really injure yourself. Whereas everyone could do a wall ball if they research it and just like, all right, I need to do 100 wall balls. Obviously, that's quite hard, but at the same time, or everyone can push the ski thing or pull it and do like a burpee. So I think it just seems so much more accessible to people, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's it. I mean, Olympic lifting, so you clean and jerk and you snatch. That's a Olympic sport. That's a sport in itself. And then you involve the running and the gymnastics. Again, gymnastics is a sport in itself, and all this sort of stuff. And so you're trying to learn a variety of different sports and putting it all together and doing it when you're breathing out your arse, so you're trying to snatch, which is a complicated movement, while you're barely able to breathe and you're like lactate through your eyeballs kind of thing. And so some people look at that and go, that's not for me. Whereas if you can slowly chip away at running a lap, skiing, there's no, like, the hard part is the sled pull and push or whatever. So that's where the weight is. Other than that, I mean, anyone can do it at any pace, really, can't they? Like burpees, you might be slow, but you could do 1 burpee a minute and you'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Whereas if in CrossFit you've got a 100 kilo snatch, you can either do it or not. Like,
it's heavy.
Two options there, yeah. So, but I think it's a great idea. Quite a while back, we worked with a guy, he used to call it Extreme Fitness Challenge. And we went and we tested some workouts, and it was a very, very similar concept. It was on like a 400 meter track. Oh, this must be like five years ago, something silly now. Yeah. And it was a CrossFit and running. So like you'd run 400 meters, then you'd do a load of burpees or whatever. Then you'd run 400 meters and then do some box jumps and things like that. And we were really pushing on this idea. It didn't go from his side, but I thought it was great because you could get so many people through. There's 8 lanes to a track kind of thing. Yeah. And so you could like get 8 people going at once. And then we were working out that, if you give people a minute, you can set another however many off. And it was a very similar concept, but I'm guessing that the money and the marketing and just the commitment wasn't there. So it never went off. So when we saw HYROX was kicking off, it was quite funny, really.
Yeah.
But, no, and I think they'll do well. Wish they'd programmed it a little bit better when they first started it, but they can't change it now, can they? And then it'll be interesting to see if it gets a little bit boring or if people just double down and commit to it. But yeah, I think it's a good way. Like, one thing that they've got going for them is a holiday. Like, if you're going, let's go for a weekend somewhere, like, let's go to Portugal and on Saturday, we'll do the HYROX in Portugal. So we'll fly Friday night, do the HYROX on Saturday, then spend Sunday there and fly back. And then, like, anyone that's fitnessy will love that because you can do your exercise and stuff, and then you can come back and you've had a holiday in Portugal and it's been good craft, if you know what I mean. So that always works.
Yeah, because when I went to Malaga in March, it was the HYROX that weekend, and we flew on like the Thursday, and you could just tell everyone
had their bags on with the patches. Yeah.
Yeah, the running trainers on and everything.
Well, I think it'll become one of those things. So like, in marathon running, there's obviously the great marathons like London, Boston, all those kind of ones. And I think there's maybe 7. Yeah. And I think there's maybe 7 or something like that. Yeah. And people want to do all of them. And it's like, not a badge of honor, but like, it's kind of a Pokemon kind of idea. Like, you got to get them all. And I think a similar thing will happen with HYROX, where people that are really into it will go, we can have a holiday in Portugal or in Germany or wherever and do that HYROX. And it's not an expensive holiday, like 50 quid flights, do the competition, come back, you're spending 2 nights there and all that. And then they go, get the badge from it. And you can see like almost that sticker book collection of patches. Yeah. Like, and I mean, that's a good idea for someone. Make a big board with like Velcro in the name of whatever. And then like, that'd be a really good way of keeping it interesting. And then, like, parkrun do it. You get a free T-shirt if you do 50 or 100, 150. And then you'll see people rock it up. I mean, they don't wear T-shirts in HYROX, obviously. And a pair of shorts saying, like, I've done all 50 HYROX.
I've done all.
Yeah, look at me. Because they love that stuff, don't they?
Yeah. But that's a good way they market, though, isn't it? You get the patches, isn't it, every time. So then you can post the photos, and you have to pay for your photos after, don't you? And then get high quality photos. You pay like 30, 50 quid. Yeah. I always see people saying, I spent 50 quid for these photos or something. Yeah. And I remember one lad I know, he was like, didn't want to pay 50 quid for the photos, so I just wanted to post by or something. Because it is that thing.
And then they just put the photo of the wall with the watermark on it. Close enough.
So yeah, it is interesting to see how much it's grown, if it will, or just be like the next fad and something else will be different.
Yeah.
So then how do you think, how did the Stealth Adjustable Dumbbells come about then, and why did you want to partner up with them and invest in them, would you say, to start off with? Because that was probably about a couple of years ago since it was launched at Assassin, wasn't it?
Yeah, I should have looked when it was actually. But yeah, like I said before, we used to, there's different types of adjustable dumbbells. We've tried every kind of style, every kind of price point. And you find that the cheaper ones, although like it's great going, oh, I can buy these cheap adjustable dumbbells, they're cheap for a reason. They're like, they break and you've got to buy a new set, or like they're just awkward, or they're annoying to change. And then like spin locks where they take ages to change. And you go, people hate them because they're annoying to use. Like adjustable dumbbell, it wants to be easy to use, user friendly, and do what you want. And so we went through loads of iteration, loads of different companies tried different things. And then, yeah, when we found these, I got them just as a sample, just to see, like I do with all the other different types, and started using them. Super easy to use. Like you just, like the weight increments change so easily. They're more compact at lighter weights, and they were just spot on really. And so from there, we were kind of like, oh, we've got a partner with this, and run with it a little bit and see how it goes. And then once we started getting them in, and we're flying off, weren't they? We were getting pre-orders. We couldn't get enough stock in for ages. Even now, like a couple of years down the line, we're struggling to keep up with demand. We'll be getting container loads in, and half the container on pre-order, so they're going straight back out. And so it's been a bit of a juggling act, but because they were like such high quality dumbbells, I mean, obviously they cost a bit more. Some people can't afford it. That's fair. But if you can afford it and you get a good set of dumbbells, they'll last you. Like full sets of replacement parts. So if you happen to, I don't know, drop it and break something, or I don't know, you knock it over and smash a stand, or like whatever you do, like you just get in contact. We've got all the spare parts. You don't need a new dumbbell. So if you buy a 300 quid dumbbell and then you break it in a year and have to buy another 300 quid dumbbell, you might as well have bought the good ones and just run with it, kind of thing. Yeah. And so that's how we got into it. And it was basically just, I used him, I liked him, and I was like, we need these products. I said to you, didn't I? I was like, we're going to run with this. We need to sort something out for sorting these. And yeah, and then it's just been go. Went through.
Because who do you think the main customers are for these then? Because like you said, the top quality, aren't they? And I see it a lot. People say, oh, so expensive. But then you get the other people who comment back now, isn't it, saying that they're the best investment they've ever made for the home gym. And like, yeah, to some people, if 550 quid, 600 quid is a lot of money. I know it's a lot of money for a lot of people. But if you're in the market for a home gym and home gym equipment, isn't it? You're not going to get anything better in the UK than this year, really, I'd say.
No, not at all. The thing with them is, like, it's hard to say who are they for, because if you're into fitness, like, I mean, if you go out on nights out on a weekend and you spend 100 quid each weekend.
Not easy, yeah.
Yeah. And like, then as soon as you do that, you, like, a few weekends and you spent that, and people don't even notice that. Like, a couple of taxis, few drinks, take your food out. Yeah, exactly. But then investing in like your fitness. So you look at these and you go, all right, that's 5 weekends of not drinking or whatever, but you've got them for, I mean, there's a 5-year extended warranty if you want it. And so they last right with you. And so I look at them and go, most people could afford it if they cared enough about it, and it'll see them right through. It goes from 4 kilos. Well, these ones, 4 kilos right up to 41.5. We can do 4 to 23.5, 4 to 32.5 if you don't want the full set. Like, some people look at it and go, oh, I'll never use 41.5 kilos. In reality, at some stage, they probably could. But if you don't want them, you can get a lighter model, which is obviously cheaper. And so I think they're pretty much for everyone. I think if you buy a cheap adjustable dumbbell now, problem is they just break. Or they just, like, the increments are too high. No one wants 5 kilo increments or something like that. Like these have a 1.5 kilo increment. That's plenty. You don't really want any less, because then you've got a million increments and you're not sure on weights. Like, and price wise, someone that has a home gym, if you have a lot of dumbbells, you know they build up in price quite a lot. You're probably £2.5 a kilo at least. But like we did a report on it, and to get a set of 2.5 to 40 kilo dumbbells, so that in 2.5 kilo increments, so that's not even as many adjustments as this.
Is that like 16 pairs or something, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, something like that, isn't it? And it was well over £2,000.
Yeah.
And then you've
on average, isn't it?
Yeah. And then, well, I think it was over £2,000, even the cheapest we found.
Yeah, was it like, between 2,000 and 2,500 on average between 20 of the biggest or most popular brands in the UK or something.
Yeah, and so if that's £2,000, say it's £2,000 if it's on a ridiculous deal or whatever, that's still way more than these. And like you always get people saying, oh yeah, but you get the physical dumbbells. But like if you're training at home on your own, like why do you need 16 individual sets of dumbbells? It just means it takes up more space.
Yeah, and how much space? Obviously, some people are going to have some like absolute mansions, aren't they? But to a normal person, how much space do you actually have at home?
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't have a full rack of dumbbells in your living room. You could have a set of these in your living room.
Yeah, especially if like somebody's using 40 kilos and they're like trying to do like bench press or something, which is obviously a lot of weight, and then you might want a 35 or a 30 or a 25. That's a lot of space, isn't it, Seiko?
Yeah, I mean a set of 40s, that'll be over 200 quid each.
Yeah,
200 quid for the set anyway. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but
roughly,
yeah. Say you're paying £2.5 a kilo, it's a fair bit of money. And so the problem is it's easier to look and go, oh, I'll buy a set of 10s now, they're only X amount, and then in the future I'll buy a couple of 20s and I'll like go 12 and a half, 15 and a half, and then next thing you know you've got £2,000 invested in the dumbbells. That's the hard part, because the outlays at one rather than drip feeding it. But yeah, back to your question about who's it for, I think anyone that's actually keen on fitness would benefit from these. They take up next to no space, and it's your dumbbells sorted in one go. And especially now, a lot of people know it used to be all barbells, barbells, but you can do pretty much everything with dumbbells now. Yeah. Like there's very few exercises you can't do with dumbbells, especially if you're training at home. Like a lot of people say, oh, like my gym membership and all this. A lot of people can save time if they do a couple of sessions at home and then go to the gym for other sessions. Like if you want to do heavy barbell snatch and heavy deadlifts and stuff like that, if you don't have the setup at home, go to the gym. Like it's not an overly expensive thing. But I know personally, like going to the gym, finding the time to drive to the gym, do however long in the gym, drive back and fit the rest of your life in is quite difficult.
Yeah, it's a lot of time, isn't it?
And so say you travel half an hour to and from the gym, that's without getting changed, without showering, everything. That's an hour of your life gone. And so before work, not as convenient, or after work, say you've got kids or like dogs to look after or whatever, it just means like it just frees up your time. And I think most people, if you said like you could get an extra hour in every day for £5, I think most people would go for it.
Oh yeah, like, definitely.
And so if you can save time every day, in the long run you'll benefit. And then like I said, a lot of people worry about like damaging it. Oh, I'm making this massive investment. Like you could buy every individual plate. You can buy the inserts for it. You can buy like the tiniest bits to each of it. Or if you're not asked about fixing it yourself, you can send it to us. We'll fix it and send it back. Like it's one of those, I hate it when people buy stuff, it breaks, and then you've got to buy something again. It's super wasteful. It's not great for the environment. And it's just not ideal if you're the customer. Whereas if you get something like this, like we're always contactable. Like I put my mobile number on the site, like, so if there's an issue, we like to think we can sort it out. And so if you send it back, if it's completely knackered and we can't fix it, we have the part to replace it. There's so many intricate little parts. We have all those parts on site. and we can fix it and send it back. And so if you look at it and you go, next day delivery to us, we can sort it same day and send it out next day delivery. So you'll only be missing like 1 day really. And that's not bad really for longevity.
No. That's one thing I do notice as well, all the good feedback about customer service. Like all the reviews, even if somebody's had like a worse experience, like say something breaking, it's like, oh, well, I spoke to Mike and he got everything sorted, got back to me straight away and everything's fixed and that kind of thing, isn't it? Which I think absolutely massively helps, isn't it? Reassure people if they're looking at reviews, Trustpilot, Google, saying, oh yeah, I think this is quite a lot of money. But then if they're not sure, if something isn't quite right, then you will get back to them, won't you? Pretty much straight away, and then help them fix it or do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, it's frustrating if you can't get hold of someone. And I mean, it's hard because occasionally you get an email that comes from someone with a wacky email address and it goes to your junk. And we don't check the junk every day because it's junk.
So much junk in it.
Yeah. I mean, as a business, you get some amount of junk.
Yeah.
But like maybe once a week or something, we commit and we just go through the junk. And so sometimes it gets delayed emailing someone. But I mean, on our site, we've got the number, the email address, and a contact form that you can use. So there's always ways to get in touch with us. But even for me buying things, if I buy something, I'm speaking to I want an issue sorted and I can't speak to someone, it's so much more hard work. And then you think, oh, I've got to deal with that again. Oh, I've got to deal with that. Whereas if you can just ping someone an email and get things going, it's just easy. And like I would happily use someone like that again. So we kind of treat it like that and we try and sort stuff. And I think, I mean, we get so few issues with these dumbbells that I guess you can spend more time on customer service. If you're getting hundreds and hundreds of complaints a day, maybe you don't have the same time to spend on customer service, but we'll get less than 0.5% of issues, like way less than that. I mean, in a container, we'll maybe get one issue, and most of the time the issue comes from FedEx launching a box out of the back of a wagon, isn't it? And there's not a lot we can do about that other than just say, no worries, we'll send you a new one. But yeah, they're tested. So when they're produced as well, they're like each plate is checked as it's been produced. It connects properly, does all that kind of stuff. And the handles are all checked in their production and the bases are all checked in their production. And then they're assembled, checked fully, then boxed. So basically the only way that there can be an issue is on the very small chance that something's been missed in one of those 3 steps, or that it gets damaged in delivery. So yeah, I mean, we have the beauty of the fact that the customer service can be like really time intensive for us because we don't have that many issues. Whereas when we used to sell other companies adjustable dumbbells or cheaper ones, it would be so demoralizing. You'd come in and another issue, and you would still sort them. But if every day most of your emails are, we've got an issue with this, you go into work a bit disheartened every time. Whereas if you go in and you get in reviews saying, oh, it's good and all this kind of stuff, just makes the working environment better as well. So it's kind of a win-win. Yeah,
definitely. And then with these then, so 26 weight increments.
Yeah, in the 41.5.
Yeah. And then 1.5 kg increments as well.
Yeah.
And the handle as well, it's easy to interchange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because a few people seem to message about that, don't they? And a bit unsure.
Yeah, you just turn it to adjust the weight. So obviously this one was at pretty much the top weight. And then the handle comes out. And then each of these plates is machined and sorted out. And they're all 1.5. And they just slot in together. And yeah, it's super easy, really. Like I'm in that there, I just operated it one-handed, and it just slots back in, and you just sit it in, sit it out, just however you want. And yeah, super easy, really.
Yeah. And to go from like 41 to 4, it literally takes about 2 seconds.
Yeah, well, I mean, you saw it there. I mean, I'm backhanded awkwardly and you manage, like, it's not, you're not spinning stuff on and checking weights. It's easy to tell what's on.
Should I time myself how fast it'll do?
You can do, yeah.
I'll stand up and do it, otherwise it's a bit awkward. Right, okay.
Already making excuses, right?
So I guess the top right.
Yeah.
41.
I mean, I don't have my phone on me, so you're gonna have to.
Right, okay, so I'm gonna get the time stopwatch. Yeah.
Yeah. How many takes is this gonna take you?
Right, okay, you can't
ready?
go. So I'm going that way.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go. 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
Yeah.
That's still pretty fast though.
Yeah.
So that's me, who's probably not the best at doing it, but yeah, 5 seconds to go from 40 to 4. Oh,
Yeah.
there, to be fair. So yeah, it just shows how easy it is to change it, to be fair. So yeah, if you're not sure about how easy it is super easy.
And it's one of those things as well, like the more you use them, the better you get at just like putting them in and getting them out. Like everyone babies them to begin with, and then once you start getting used them, chuck them in, swing around, and you get faster and more efficient.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know what kind of drop sets people are doing.
I was going to say the same thing.
Oh, it's 41 and a half. Oh, I can't do any more. I'll just drop it to 4.
That's what I was going to say. How often would you go from 4 to 41 or 41 to 4?
Yeah.
Probably never, would you? Apart from if you're trying to see how fast you can do it.
Yeah. And again, like there's always someone that comes up with this really niche, I've tried this and it was a bit awkward. And you go, as a general rule, like if you're doing sets, you might do drop sets. A lot of people don't even do drop sets. But like if you're doing drop sets, you're not going from 41 and a half to 4. No. Like you might be going 41 and a half to 35 or whatever, like reasonable drops. And so that doesn't really matter. It's less than 2 seconds probably to switch those. Most people will do a drop set and spin it in one rotation and then they'll pick it out again. And then like someone saying, I wasn't great at putting it in, but it's like anything, like no one's great at driving a car when they first do it, but it just takes like, you use it 5 or 6 times and you get better at it. And then before you know it, you do it subconsciously. And then, yeah, so for 99% of the times you'll use it, it's absolutely spot on. And like the only thing I would say is, because I do a lot of CrossFit, if I was doing an intense CrossFit workout with dumbbell snatch or something like that, where you're throwing a hex dumbbell around, I would do that because I wouldn't want to accidentally drop these and break it or something. And that's probably it. But that's if I'm doing high intensity CrossFit stuff and I have access to hex dumbbells.
Yeah.
But if you're working in your living room, you're probably not going to be throwing it around, like it just seems like a silly concept. So that's the only thing I would say. If all you ever do is pure CrossFit stuff, maybe they're not the best for you, because you could get away with, for guys, 22.5 kilo and 2 of those, and you can do most of the CrossFit stuff. It is getting more now, like people understand that you can't just do like running around, jumping around CrossFit, all that kind of stuff. You've got to do a bit of accessory work and you've got to do a bit of strength outside it to get the most out of it. But I think most people, if they come up with some niche thing, I just look at it, I just think it's almost a waste. Like some of the comments you get, it's just like, you've wasted your time commenting that because
there's nothing you can do. Yeah.
And also like no one cares.
Yeah.
Like as bad as it sounds, as bad as it sounds, like no one else in the comments cares, but like, and we come up with solutions for people and we just go, try this. But like in reality, it's just take an extra second. Like you're not so time stricken that you can't spend an extra second doing something really. But yeah,
that's just people,
it's
isn't
people in it. Yeah.
And one thing I was going to say earlier, actually, when we mentioned about barbells and dumbbells, and I was watching a YouTube video yesterday, and they were saying that dumbbells are a lot safer than barbells, which I definitely agree, isn't it? If you're at your home gym and you're doing like a barbell bench press or something, and you've gone too heavy, it's stuck, isn't it? Whereas, say, if you've got dumbbells, you can just drop them and then you're fine, aren't it? So if you're in your home gym training by yourself, then dumbbells are probably a safer way to go.
Yeah. They're just, everything about them, it seems more convenient. Like they're better in the way they develop your muscle because you've got to balance them. With a barbell, because it's fixed at both hands, there's not much balancing really. Whereas dumbbells, they're free moving from each other, so there is more to it. And yeah, like you said, you can't get pinned under a dumbbell bench press, can you? And also, people don't tend to ego lift as hard because a bar, like you load the weight on the rack. People go, bang loads of weight on, and you only know you can't do it when it comes down. But you'll know, like if you're doing a dumbbell bench, you sit on your knees, you won't even get it up, let alone like be able to do it. Like if you can get it up, you can do a rep usually. Yeah. And so they do tend to be a bit better like that.
Yeah. So, what do people think about the design then? Because I think the black ones are so like sleek, aren't they, and really cool and a bit mean looking. Really,
a bit mean looking. No, I hope you're not scared. No, I mean,
this is the black edition ones, isn't it?
Yeah. Personally, I prefer the look of the black edition ones. Yeah, people love it, to be fair. I think it just fits in. It looks like some things you buy and they're expensive, but they just they look clunky or they look like a pain in the ass.
They look cheap.
Yeah. I mean, these live up to the name. The Stealth Black editions, they do look stealthy, don't they? And they look smart enough that they fit in and they just look high quality, don't they? So it's not tons of crappy plastic or even though there are plastic parts, it's not that cheap Chinese plastic, everyone goes, just snaps in 2 seconds. It's not like that, no. And so when you look at them, they just look the part really, don't they? And yeah, the silver ones, we do have some just over there, but they're great as well. Like if you don't like the stealth look, the silver ones are not the opposite. Chrome ones, yeah. They're not the opposite, but they're more like blingy, if you know what I mean. So these are really subtle. The silver ones are more like blingy and kind of fancy, look at this kind of thing. And yeah, so personally, I mean, I'm biased because I like these, but I get these. But the silver ones, yeah, they do have a bit more of a bling to them.
And what would you say the main differences are then between the black self-adjustable dumbbells and the chrome self-adjustable dumbbells?
Yeah, so, basically the main thing is how the plates are designed. So, come on.
Only prepared earlier.
So, the chrome ones, like a stamped bit of steel. So, they're 2 pieces of steel that are bent in a certain way and pinned together. So they're fully metal, which is great. I mean, you're never going to wear through this or anything like that. It does mean that they, like metal on metal contact, obviously makes a bit of noise. Like people call it a rattle. And I always go like, these aren't a shake weight. Like you're not rattling them around.
Like a cling, would you say?
Yeah, more. Yeah. So if you've got 2 metal things next to each other, they make a noise. And then the black edition, they're like a single piece of metal with 2 inserts, top and bottom. And it just makes them a bit more of a precise fit and just gets rid of the metal on metal contact without like some adjustable dumbbells. They coat them in plastic. And then what happens is the plastic coating chips off, or like that's the thing that's going to fail the first. So instead of coating them in plastic, making them bulky, making them susceptible to damage, it's just the inserts that are plastic, and again, they're a high quality plastic, not a cheap thing, and they're also replaceable. So yeah, that's the main difference, and it's just the plate styles. But I guess this is an example of how much more blingy it is.
Shiny.
Yeah. But no, that's the main thing, really.
And did you say that the chrome ones are now generation 4?
Yeah, so they'd be classed as generation 4, really. So we don't specifically mention which generation things are because it confuses a lot of people mostly. Like a lot of people go, what's like, am I getting this generation or that generation? And what's the difference between generations? And in reality, it's very small differences.
Like the iPhone.
Yeah. Well, even less than. And so it's just incremental upgrades. So they're all backwards compatible. So you could use a Gen 4 handle in Gen 1 plates or whatever it is. But the incremental upgrades might just be like, a slightly different shape to something so it makes a better connection. Or the base is a slightly different size or fitment or something. So it improves how you put it in and out or makes it more robust or like simple things. So like in one of the generations, the small weights, we changed the type of plastic that was getting used. Or they changed the type of plastic they're going to use, and so it makes them more durable. And that was just from customer feedback saying like, we dropped this and this snapped. And you go, no, here's a replacement. And then next thing you speak like you speak to them and they go, oh, we're getting people saying this. And next thing you know, like they've improved the plastic or whatever. But to most people, it won't bother them. And it just means that that's going to increase the lifespan. And it's little changes like that. That's what the generations are. And yeah, now they're all what will be classed as generation 4, I guess. And yeah.
Would you say the biggest change to generation 4 is the handle?
Yeah, so the handle diameter, we passed on a lot of feedback because they used to have a 37 mil handle on them. And a lot of people were saying, oh, they like the 34 mil handle size. So yeah, we passed that feedback on, and next thing you know, 34 mil handle size is available. And we still stock the 37. That one's actually got a 37 in it, and this has got a 34. And so we stock both, so people with the Gen 1s or whatever can get replacement handles if they need. But we also now move on to this. And like, these are complete, like, different handles, but they work exactly the same. You could put one in one and one in the other and it would work fine. But we've got a lot of feedback saying that a lot of people prefer the 34 mil handle because it's more like a normal dumbbell.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the biggest change really. And then the bases, improved base design, so they fit a little bit nicer. And it's kind of that, you want them snug, but not too snug.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And then, so moving on from just the dumbbells then, so since we last spoke, you've kind of built more of a stealth range, haven't you? So what else is in the range? So see, obviously we've got the stand here, we've got kettlebells.
Yeah, so we work.
bench.
Oh, sorry.
No, yeah.
I was just gonna say, yeah. So obviously we worked with Stealth for the dumbbells originally, and they went so well, and they had matching bases and that kind of stuff. And then the next thing they were saying, we've got these adjustable kettlebells, and we have other adjustable kettlebells kicking about, and we've sold some in the past, and back to the same. Well, they're a pain in the ass to use, really. And like
That one is so clunky.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but it's fucking massive as well.
Yeah, and that's it. And you look and you go, oh, it seems great and it looks good on a photo, but yeah, it's just a bit clunky and a bit useless, really. In reality, you're not ever going to use it because it's just a pain in the ass. So they came with and also it's got weird increments. 17 kilos.
Oh yeah, 14, 17, 20 that nobody would use, is it? Yeah.
I mean, 20's all right. But, and so they're not consistent. It's a bit clunky and it doesn't fill you with confidence when you swing it around.
No.
And so they sent these and I was a bit dubious because...
I don't think we can see them.
Well...
Gonna be heavy.
Yeah, you've chosen the 24 kilo one. Feeling strong. There you go. And
I'll put it on my lap.
Yeah, so... I was a bit dubious to begin with, and then we got a set, and yeah, they were super spot on. And
it looks like a kettlebell, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah, exactly. It's the same size as our competition ones, pretty much. So it's the consistency of size, handle diameter, all that kind of stuff, and it's got a cast outer, so it's strong. And then the weight increments 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16, and then 16, 18, 20, and 22, and 24. So in 2 kettlebells, you've got a full range of stuff, and yeah, they're just spot on, really. And again, like if you've got home gym or a PT studio or anything, they're just really convenient.
What's been the feedback on them so far then? Because these have been more recent, haven't they? Been recently launched.
Yeah,
Last few
like
months?
I said, I was a bit dubious, and yeah, so oh god, I can't remember. I should have written some dates down, but. We didn't get loads the first time. I think we got 50 of each or something like that. So pretty low number. And they just went, didn't they? And the feedback we got was like spot on. Basically people saying they're absolutely what they were looking for. And they are just handy. The kettlebells are one of those things. You maybe don't use them as often as dumbbells either. So if you get a full range, so if you got 5 kettlebells, there's 5 weights in one of those. It's quite a bit of money, and most of the time you won't use one of them. Like you just maybe use it for a warm up, or maybe it's too heavy so you don't use it very often, but it's handy to have it. And so like the beauty of these is it doesn't take up loads of space and it's not sat there collecting dust because you'll use the other weights of it. And then, yeah, you can get the full range just in 2 kettlebells, which is spot on. I guess you could do drop sets if people wanted to do drop sets on kettlebells.
Because how much is a normal kettlebell then? How much would you say?
I mean, it varies.
A 16 kg kettlebell? Because you haven't done any research on that, have you? I suppose?
No, we've not. Maybe we should do a
comparison.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not going to get a 16 kilo kettlebell for that cheap. I mean, it'd be probably 3 or 4 pounds a kilo.
Oh, really?
I'd imagine so. Yeah.
So about 50 quid or something.
Yeah, I'd imagine somewhere around there. Yeah. And so it's basically the cost of 2 kettlebells, obviously depending which ones you get, but you get 5 and it takes up next to no space. Yeah. So again, and we've had, I mean, touch wood, we've had no issues with them at all. So again, back to the Stealth quality is just spot on. And what's good about it is when we get feedback from customers, we can pass the feedback on to Stealth and you get something out of it. It's not just tough luck, deal with it. It's like the handle diameter and the change in the bases and stuff. We get feedback, we pass it on, and then improvements are made. And it's not one of those where people are just left like, oh, if you've got a 37 millimeter handle, tough luck. It's no, we still stock that. So that's an extra part to stock and everything. But like, we're behind the customers. Like, if they want one, we can get it, we can sort anything. Same with the Stealth kettlebells. If anyone has an issue, they can send them back. We'll fix them, we'll replace them, we'll do whatever. But so far, so good. Yeah.
So the kettlebell is just press and twist, isn't it? To change
You just press it in and twist it, and then all the numbers are shown on the side. And then when you lift it up, it leaves the weights it's not needed. And you can swing them. They're not, as well, some adjustable kettlebells have weird shapes. So like if you're doing a press and it's resting on your forearm, if it's a weird weight, it wrecks your forearm or whatever. Whereas these, because the outside is all one, they feel like a kettlebell. They're the shape of a kettlebell, they're just different weights. And then again, 2 kilos. Most people maybe won't use 2 kilos. Depends what you're doing, but it's a great way to build up. You're not going from 16 to a 32 or even a 16 to a 24. 8 kilos is quite a jump, whereas you can progressively overload it by just going up 2 kilos each time. And again, great for PT stuff. Like if you've got different people coming in, you need loads of different weights or whatever, you've got them there in just 2 things. And it's spot on.
Because I think that's the thing that I can just see from now, isn't it? That how much space they take up.
Yeah.
Like say you've got 26 dumbbells, isn't it? And you've got 10 different kettlebells.
Yeah.
And literally all you need is about a couple of feet
and
wide.
That's it. And then you've got a bench next to it, and you like most people can get away with probably 1 meter square to actually do the exercise. A bench, dumbbells, kettlebells, like that's
it's pretty sweet.
Sound. Yeah.
If you've got like limited space, like say in your garage or whatever, isn't it? You can fit in quite easily. So what else have you got in the pipeline for the Stealth range? Anything in the pipeline you wanted to share? Or any new products that you're going to be launching? Or?
Yeah, well, they've sent us some drop pads, which I think are maybe a bit past it, but there's stands in the pipeline and benches, and they're trying to just expand the range to keep the same high quality, ease of use, all that kind of stuff, and just expand it into different parts. So there's a few little different things, a few things a long way off in the pipeline, a few things a bit closer. But I think at the moment we're going to keep ordering the same like reliable things, the dumbbells, the kettlebells, the stands. Stealth seem to be doing us pretty solid with that, and then see what they bring out, and anything they bring out, they're more than welcome to send us and we'll try it, because so far it's been pretty good.
Yeah, because I think it's fair to say these are the best adjustable dumbbells in the UK at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, by far. I've not come across anything that's anywhere near.
Yeah,
it's hard to come across in a photo as well, but when you get them side by side, like we've done some comparisons, and obviously I've used loads of different ones. There's just something about them, and I
think it's a feel of them.
Yeah, and like just when it clicks, and it's a positive click rather than the kind of and all that kind of stuff. And then when it's like slots in, and it just slots in well, and like there's no issues with that. And it's hard to come across in photos and videos, but when you get it in your hand, you know about it, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. But no, it's definitely an exciting time, isn't it? At Assassin and for Stealth as well.
Yeah.
Because some really cool products. And how many do you reckon you've sold personally then over the last couple of years?
Thousands, aren't they?
Like over 5,000 or something,
Yeah, I
probably
just said so, yeah.
Which is crazy to think, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also when you listen to that number, and then you think about how few issues you've had. Like I said, most of the issues have come from like FedEx or someone just kicking it out the back of a wagon.
Just out of everybody's control, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, but saying that, we've fed that back, and now they're packaged differently. They go, "Oh, right, we'll upgrade the packaging," and I mean, obviously, no one else sees that cost. They just take that cost. But usually, like most things, when we buy from other people, if it gets damaged in transit, they blatantly go, "Well, you're just using a bad company." And then, whereas we've gone back to them, we've gone, "Look, we've had a few plates getting damaged in the post or something like this." And then next thing, you get a video, they've upgraded the packaging, and they're just someone's chucking it off the back of a wagon a few times to show you that. Then they get it out and it's fine. And there still will be the occasional one, which, I mean, we've had ones where like someone's put a forklift spike through it in one of the warehouses, and you just say, "Oh, it sounds not like what are you going to put it in a metal box?" But so they can happen. But again, just drop us an email and we'll get it sorted. Next day delivery, sorted, done. But yeah, so we've fed back to Stealth that there's issues with packaging, or we've had a couple of issues. They change it, they update it. And so not only is that good for me, but that's good for the end customer, because although we sort an issue, no one wants an issue. Even if it's sorted the next day, it's still someone just goes, "Oh," or like they've got it for someone's birthday, and it arrives on a Friday, the birthday's on Saturday, and it arrives a bit damaged, and it's like, "Oh." And there's nothing we can do at that point, because we don't, like, collections don't happen on a Saturday or Sunday, and deliveries don't either most of the time. So you look and you go, like the best we can do is Monday kind of thing. And we'll send it out straight away and we'll do our best, but it's still an issue, if you know what I mean. So when they sort those out, it's absolutely spot on. But no, I think we'll just keep on with what we're doing and see what magical things are there out next.
Yeah. And then, so if someone's on the fence then, thinking about upgrading their home gym or getting a set of adjustable dumbbells, what would you say to them?
Oh, what's interesting is I get quite a few people ringing me, asking me, going, "Oh, we're looking at these dumbbells and we're looking at these." And I don't like saying they're bad, this. I just
Explain
go,
to the people, yeah.
I go, "What are you looking for?" Because most people are looking for ease of use, number of increments. Maybe someone only wants 5 increments, and they go, "My budget is 100 quid. I would never say these are the ones for you, because that's just not right. So like I always say, work out what you need. Like if they might be after, they go, "Oh, should I buy HYROX or should I buy these?" And I go, work out what you want. How much space have you got? What kind of training do you do? All that kind of stuff. And most of the time it boils down to how many increments they want. I mean, these got 26 different increments. So 1.5 kilos. Do you need more like increments than that? Well, I mean, if you do, we've got the magnetic plates. But anyway, that's another time. Or do you go how many increments? Has the other company got as many increments? Do you need as many increments, whatever? Ease of use. Like, how is it to change? Do you have to put plates on and put collars on and faff on? Or, I mean, like, you can't get much easier than these. You put the handle in and you twist it. And then, like, durability. Do you care about the warranty? Like, all these different things. And I don't sell it as, "Oh, you need to buy this." I say, what are the things you need? And then advise them from there. And I will say, I've said these are not right for certain people. And I've said, you should just go and buy the other companies, because I don't want to flog someone that like can't afford it, or it's going to be an issue to them. I'd rather they buy it because they want it, or it would be good for them. And yeah, it's happened maybe once or twice where someone's basically just gone, "Well, actually, I want the cheapest dumbbell possible."
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. I'm never going to say, if they've got 100 quid, they're not buying a 600 quid dumbbell. Like, go and get a second hand one off Facebook Marketplace of something else that does the job or whatever. And then same, like, I'll never sell a 41.5 kilo dumbbell to someone that like is 80 years old or whatever, you know, like you go, well, what's the point? Like in reality, 23.5 that'll do everything you want it to do. And maybe they have plenty of money and they want the 41.5. It doesn't matter, I guess. But yeah, I think someone's got to make their own mind up, because if you tell them they want this and it arrives and it's not right for them, you've kind of done them a disservice. So usually I just say, what are they after? All these things. And in the end, they go, we'll think about it. And then they'll buy it. And quite often they'll ring up and say, thanks, really appreciate how you did it. And we've made the decision, bought yours anyway. And that's great to hear, because like they've made up their mind with knowing all the facts. Because a lot of people they don't want you to sell your dumbbell. They just want to know all the facts and make their own decision. So that's kind of how we go about it. And the fact is, they've got a lot of increments. They're durable. They're really easy to use. I think they look pretty good. And
don't take up much space.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, I'm right. Let's wrap it up now. And final thing that I'm going to ask you.
Oh God,
I haven't prepped you for either.
Yeah, that's
so.
Great.
What I ask people on the podcast now is, what one piece of advice would you give your younger self, either first starting out in business or just your younger self, like say 18-year-old self or something like that?
One thing.
Yeah, one piece of advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or one thing you'd say to them.
Take more risks and run with them. For business wise, I definitely like, it's too easy to look at something and either like a monetary value or a time or something. When you're young, you've got time, you've got energy, and like you can always make more money. Like if you have to work 2 jobs, do it. Like, and then because there's been so many opportunities that you just go, oh, I'd love to do that. And then you don't do it. Someone else does it and they're laughing. And I think that's the biggest one.
Yeah, it's a good piece of advice, because I think, if I was going back to say like 21, 22, just finishing uni, I wish I took like more bigger risks then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because one of the, Jack, who helped me out with some stuff in my business, he's like doing loads of stuff now. I'm like, oh, I wish I was like that when I was like 21.
Yeah, exactly.
You should just figure out like what you don't like doing and what doesn't work younger. And then you think, oh, fuck, it'd be so much further ahead, isn't it? That's a good piece of advice.
Yeah. Well, also now, I feel like back when I started doing this, less people were doing their own thing. Like it was almost, you go to school, you go to uni, you just get a job, you live the normal life. Whereas I feel like now more people are aware that they can do their own thing. I think a lot of that's come out from social media, because people can make money on social media and that's kind of their own thing. But yeah, when I first said I was going to do this, it was not the most popular thing, but I was like, I'm going to try my own thing and go with it. And it was so few of my friends or anyone that I know did that. And then even from there, I was looking back, I used to think I was taking all the risks and doing all this, but if I had my time again, I'd take way more risks. I'd do way more different things. But everything, like when you own your own business, everything's a risk. Employing someone's a risk, because they might be completely useless. They might just take the piss, basically. I mean, going on holiday is a risk, because what happens if something happens and your employees don't understand how to do it or can't do it or whatever? But they're like tiny risks. And like taking stealth stuff, like taking big deals with stealth and stuff like that, that's a risk. And I think I would just risk way more and push on harder. I think that's the biggest one. Yeah.
That's a good piece of advice. Very good piece of advice. Right. Where can people find you, follow you, get in touch, all that kind of fun stuff then? Yeah, just get in touch, assassingoods.com. I mean, all our contact information's there. Just drop us an email, give us a call, anything. We don't really have a shop. We have a bit of a space, but everything's just done online really now. So yeah, just drop us an email and we'll be happy to help. Right. Thank you very much for coming on. Over an hour. Over an hour. Yeah. Mike wasn't sure if he'd be able to talk for an hour, but he can talk. An hour of my life I'll never get back. Got to do a shoot now anyway. So right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe, comment your favorite part. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, make sure to follow the podcast and leave a 5-star review, and see you next time. Bye.